Thank you so much, Shreya. Actually, it's an eye-opener for me, very honestly, because I did engage with a host of artisans during the time of COVID. I think sometime during the month of May or June, right across Orissa from Koraput to Ganjam to Baud. In fact, that's why I was pretty, I was wondering how you selected the districts here, because the districts were important. I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't anything, but the districts in the western part of Orissa, they might be having different kind of problems, and rich in terms of the handicraft and handloom tradition. So I would have been actually happier had you covered those because for them the access is only to Sambalpuri, Bastralaya, and I think a couple of them have not been working. I have been an auditor Sambalpuri, Bastralaya long ago, and I know that it from this position, from its prima donna position as one of the topmost handloom marketing agency in the cooperative sector, it has been languishing, and it is looking for all the time capital to survive. So many of these institutional issues actually have to be addressed, and these institutional issues, some of it could be in terms of some of me could be which can be rectified, and there could be some which have to be it could require design change, structural changes, and so that would require a lot of study. The problems which have been mentioned here, of course, when I do not belong to, I don't have somebody in the community, but I am aware of the fact that they are the one who are the second largest employer after agriculture. But unfortunately, unlike agricultural laborers who can work in the NREGS wage scheme on a road, these people can't be expected, and unfortunately, they are actually left high and dry. So, what Shaljaji was talking about, the tradition and the dignity of that job, that has to be restored in some manner. So, those kind of that specific scheme probably has to be. In fact, I had raised it in the parliament also that something like that has to be thought of, which is NREGS-like but not NREGS, which gives the dignity and could be in the space of handlooms itself. Maybe construction of their wharfing shed, maybe they themselves do it or something. Something has to be thought of. So that I would need to sit with you, or some recommendations should come from you. Whatever, I hope I get everything together, whatever was discussed today.
Yes, we will send you a list of the procedures.
Then I'll work with them. The two things that I am doing. One is that, of course, I have written to the Prime Minister, and I'm trying to get the handloom sector separate from the powerloom sector and look at it as a part of the creative economy that I discussed. In Orissa, for example, recently they have taken handicrafts out of industry because it's completely different, and you have to look at the different market. So that particular portion is the marketing portion, portion of the chain, value chain. The other one is production, the problems, many of them have spoken about, supply raw material and all these things. But the point is that some structural change has to be required in terms of, for example, I would really like to interact with Mr. Somen Chatterjee later, because some of those thoughts which he has implemented is something there in my mind. For example, if they have to get that MSME registered as an MSME, many of these people have asked me, how do they do it? In fact, they do not know that Marchela Rao, who is their leader, I think, from Hyderabad, he was on
Hyderabad.
I don't know. And why? Because at the district level, the assistant director of textiles, who is looking after the textile and handloom sector, he is not talking to the assistant director of industries, who is actually in charge of the MSME sector. And in many cases, MSME. So that has to be addressed. In fact, I told Mr. The other day I was discussing informally with Mr. Amitav Kant and Nitin Gadkari. I talked about this. So I really want to know this synergy which is required across departments. How do we achieve that? So is it better to take handlooms out of textile and bring it under MSME permanently, or take it to commerce for an export orientation, complete export orientation? Because whatever said and done, its pricing, its market, its market segment, they are very different. You cannot bring them to the shelf of a local shopkeeper in the marketplace in Palika Bazaar and expect that your handloom will be sold, because your pricing is very different. So you have to have a separate. So
I think, yeah. Please go on, sir.
And I would be looking at, getting all these things from you in a consolidated manner, in which case I would love to take it forward, because I'm confused about one fact, that one can't survive on government grants and incentives for a long period of time. It has to be
not sustainable
to capture the market, whatever segment is available, internally, domestic or abroad. And we have to pitch in that way. In fact, the other day, I was in the committee in which Mr. Amitabh Kant and we were there and discussing that in our export basket from India, we are trading in goods which constitute only 20% of the world trade. So we are basically doing those things where people are not interested. Whereas we should have been doing textiles and handlooms where people are interested. So we have to promote this. Now, this kind of market linkage, market orientation at a structural level, it is not just a question of having more shelf space in Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, which is what every state government is doing, but it is on a different plane. So that thought process has to come, and I would love to take it forward. I've been talking about this to many people, in fact, I've talked to, MPs across party lines, Mrs. Jai Bachchan or even Priyanka Chatterjee, many. So I would love to actually, I want somebody who can help me, support me in actually getting this thing together and placing these people, the weavers, as extremely talented craftsmen or artisans whose skill level is so high that they have to be treated differently. They have not to be treated as somebody who is to be given goals. That is my thought process. Unless,
I think this is,
unless that is done, COVID-like situations will completely finish them.
Absolutely. We run the risk of completely running our cultural and creative industries capital to the ground, Dr. Patnaik.
Absolutely. In fact, I do not know, nobody talked about it. I spoke about it in the budget discussion. If anybody hears my speech, I did say that in the handloom sector, textile sector, despite all the big parks that we're talking about, actually capital expenditure projects budget estimate is less by 20%. All schemes of Scruti and all these have been reduced. The budget estimates.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There is a reduction. So forget about the rhetoric. And I am also worried about this particular thing. Why is it that the state government schemes are being, people know about it or whatever, and the central government schemes are not reaching? And even if they've heard of it, why didn't they pursue it? So here, in fact, I would be wondering, the handicrafts, organization at the state level, I'm sure they must be doing a lot of activity to rope them in. But just like the MSME sector, where you'll be surprised to know 77% of the MSMEs in India till now, this is the report which is given to us in the committee, they do not access bank loans.
Yes.
All your schemes of, getting them MSME is not working. So you have liquidity given through the emergency credit guarantee line, nothing works because 77% are outside the banking system. Similar is the position with the artists. So we have to get them in, and banks are asking for collaterals. In case of artists, they will fund collaterals, not their business. In big businesses, they will fund the business, not the collaterals. They don't need collaterals. So these are very structural issues. We really have to work hard, because otherwise it will be an incremental thing which gives relief for a certain period of time, but it is not permanent.
Dr. Patnaik, I cannot agree with you more. We are in the process of putting together a list of recommendations that look at moving from relief and recovery phase post-COVID to longer-term structural and reconstruction-oriented recommendations for the revival of the
sustainable kind of stuff.
Yes. So as a follow-up to all these conversations, I will share with you a paper with our recommendations, and also in consultation with some of the networks that are participating in this very important consultation today. Some of the institutional recommendations that you have made have been discussed within stakeholders for time memorial, but we have not been really able to place or locate it maybe at the appropriate tables, and maybe this positioning is something that Dr. Patnaik, you can help us with moving ahead.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time and your insights. And as a follow-up to this, we will be in touch with a paper to table some of the recommendations that we can take forward with your support. So,
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for participating, and we will be in touch with everybody who was part of this discussion. Thank you so much, Romaika.
Thank you.